stone does not react. So in Ayurveda, if you see, all the medicines are made in stone, Pemberti or Etikopak. Each village has got its beauty and its craft, its food, its culture. Palakurapapu or anything which is greens. Stone kills harmful germs. All the practices of India, as we learn, had a scientific reason. Globally, there is only one place that makes a vessel out of tin. Rasam should not boil for long.
వంట ఏ పాత్రల్లో చేయాలి, వంట ఎందులో వండాలి అని విచిత్రంగా అడుగుతున్నాను అనుకుంటున్నారా? వంటకు అందరం మనం నాన్ స్టిక్, అల్యూమినియం, స్టీల్ ఇవన్నీ వాడుతున్నాం. కానీ మన యాన్సెస్టర్స్, అమ్మమ్మ, నాన్నమ్మలు ఏం వాడేవారు? ఇత్తడి, బ్రాంజ్ అంటే కాన్సా. ఎందుకు? వాటి వెనకతలు చాలా సైన్స్ ఉంది. జిస్టా ఫౌండర్ మీరా రామకృష్ణన్ ఇక్కడ ద కల్నరీ లాంచ్లో జిస్టా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సెంటర్ లాంచ్ చేశారు. తను ఆల్ ది వే ఫ్రమ్ బెంగళూరు, షీఈస్ హియర్. I want to talk to her and understand why kansa or bronze or copper was used in our kitchen. Let's try to understand. This is Meera Ramkrishnan. Hi Meera.
Welcome. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Same here. Meera, I want to see the experience center. And before I want to understand everything over here, why you have shifted from a corporate career to an entrepreneur?
Sure. I keep saying my mother thinks I'm still on a break. So she still keeps asking me when I'm going to go back to work.
Oh.
Okay, because after a very 22, almost more than 2 decades of career in corporate, starting this was something, I think the seed was sown probably very young in my growing up days. I grew up in very small towns. And my father is an ex-banker. So he took me to all his clients, would be farmers, would be, artisans, would be somebody who's making some, say, halwa. He had a lot of varieties of clients, miners. And I was exposed to a lot at the ground level in my complete growing up years. I was bored whenever he took me. But, later on, as I grew up, I realized that it has rooted me a lot. And there's a lot of knowledge he has given me. My father, almost some 15 years back, we were traveling to multiple villages. He bought a notebook and he told me, start writing down which place is famous for what. And he said, after his time, his worry was after his time, if I don't know anything, I will not pass it on to the next generation and the link will be broken. So he didn't want the link to be broken, the Bharatiya link of each village has got its beauty and its craft, its food, its culture.
Art.
So I noted down everything and maybe all this put together made us start. I've got 2 more co-founders. We are 3 of us. We came together. My intention was to revive the arts and crafts of India from where it originated. So for example, Pemberti or Etikopaka, or it's the origination. And also take that whole socio-economic status of the artisans and the cluster along with us. Lift the socio-economic status. I love story. I love history. I love culture. I love to learn about it. And that's why, there is so much of storytelling. You would see in each one of them, the Shakuntala Patra you mentioned. There is that huge interest in understanding, and that's what we try to bring out as an organization.
That's really wonderful, Meera. But during the launch, what I have noticed is still many people are not aware of why should we use a particular kind of vessel for a particular kind of recipe to cook some recipe. So I want you to take us through these vessels and the importance of elements in our kitchen and the science behind it.
So before we start, traditionally India cooks, and I'm saying for thousands of years, cooks in 8 elements. Okay, not many people would know that. Through our research or through our work, what we have understood is it's a stone, clay, wood, which is used as part of the cooking, which is the natural materials. Then comes the metals, copper, tin. Then comes bronze. Then is iron, and last is brass. Like many people think, yes, brass is one of the oldest metals, but brass cookware came only 800 years back. And it also originated from Rajasthan, because Rajasthan invented the method of downward distillation of zinc. Only after they did that lead did not get mixed in brass. So brass was used as a decorative item in rituals, multiple places, but not as a cookware until this happened. And then brass became one of the most critical cookware. So I just wanted to say this, each element is important. If you've seen, we have captured this beauty of every element, right? Stone is a nurturer. So what is very interesting is stone does not react. So in Ayurveda, if you see, all the medicines are made in stone. Why? Because stone keeps the properties of that intact, pure. It doesn't change it,
Grounded.
right? Grounded, exactly.
That's why we worship stone as Gauri, right?
Absolutely.
So because the element is like it comes from the earth,
Yes.
and then it is grounded.
Correct.
It is permanent, prosperous.
Yes.
So that's why it is infinite. Stone lives for longer.
Absolutely. So if you see this, which is a soapstone vessel, I have one which is my grandmother's, which is 100 years old. So that's, you said infinite. Each of this can be passed on from generations, except clay. Everything else can be passed from one generation to another. You asked about stone. Stone's property is that it retains the originality, which means it retains the nutrients. So good old days, if you see, for example, palakura pappu or anything which is greens is cooked in stone because it retains the complete nutrients of it. Stone kills harmful germs. It is rich in iron and magnesium. So it nurtures your body. So some examples I'll take. For example, copper. Copper purifies. How interesting, right? Our ancients, we are talking about, 8,000, 10,000 years back, or even before, we don't know, knew that copper purifies. So copper actually kills harmful germs in 30 minutes. It's called oligodynamic effect. It purifies your water, it neutralizes your water. And what brilliant vessel can you have, metal you can have. If you see tin is actually a protector. You would see in many of the brass vessels, the kalai.
Yes.
It protects, right, from copper, from leaching. Tin also protects your dental and skin health. So that's the beauty of tin. When it comes to bronze, my favorite, stone and bronze. Bronze is a balancer. Bronze is the first engineered alloy of Bharat. So when you mix copper and tin, you get bronze.
Yes.
Okay, so this were pure metals and then the mixture happened. Bronze balances the tridoshas. It also aids in your digestive system. It's got a lot of brilliant properties. In temple prasadam, in Garbhagriha, I always say people, traditionally the prasadam is taken inside the temple, given, the puja is done in bronze.
Can we consider that as gold?
Yes, and bronze people even do the charity of bronze, right? When you do a puja, you give away something. If you can't give away gold, bronze is one of the next superior metal considered as a good for dhanam, as they say it. It's considered to be a divine metal. Whoever believes in it can, whoever does not, it's fine. But when people who have cooked in it. I keep quoting the person called Geeta Ji, who's a YouTuber and a person who's teaching people South India cooking globally. When she used bronze, the first thing she called me and said, I feel divine cooking in it. That there is a positivity when you cook in bronze. When you ring the bronze, you feel that vibration, right? I'm sure the metals have lot.
Bronze.
This one.
Meditative bowl also.
Correct.
Right?
Is it?
Produces sound.
Yes.
Divine sound.
Bronze carries those positive vibrations and it's one of the most superior metals across all the metals. Iron, for example, is for strength. There is a fad today that go for brass. Go for a tawa in brass, go for cookware in brass, eat in brass. No. If you do all that, then where is your strength going to come from? So iron gives you the strength, and it is important that iron is used in your day-to-day life. Tawas, why would anybody replace a iron tawa with anything else? When I say iron, I mean iron and cast iron, both. Now, why would you replace with a brass tawa? I mean, the taste of iron is something you have to relish, and iron doesn't require anything. You just
And body requires iron.
Body requires iron. Imagine, you pass it on from generation. It had a purpose, and I don't think we should spoil the purpose of iron.
Yes.
So you asked me saying what should be what. I wanted to give you a brief saying each one is got its value, and together, they will sustain your body, they will balance, and they will provide harmony and health to a home. Now the question will be, do I need to buy all the 8? Not necessarily, right? You may not.
But if you can buy, that's great, right?
It would
If
be
you
wonderful.
Have at home that's great.
It is wonderful, but if you can't, it's fine. You can make a combination of a few of them,
Yes.
which has its own unique properties. Why lose away great digestion? Why lose away strength?
So I will ask you quickly.
Yes.
I will mention one ingredient and you immediately tell me which vessel to use.
Okay, tell me.
Okay? So sambar,
Sambar, soapstone or brass? Soapstone is the best.
pulsu.
The best is soapstone because soapstone is great for tamarind based food. If not soapstone, the next would be bronze.
But as far as I understand, soapstone and clay will be good for even for fish, the tamarind gravy.
Clay is also very good. The only problem with clay are two things. The lifetime of a clay is 1 year. So after clay is porous, after 1 year it stops giving you the properties. So what happens is then you throw it. Every bogi in Tamil Nadu, there is a practice that the day before Pongal, which is bogi, they break the clay pot and next day the Pongal is made in a fresh clay pot. In the villages, in the agricultural community. This is all the practices of India as we learn had a scientific reason. They have been using their clay 12 months continuously every day. It has lost its property. So that's the beauty of the
And
customs.
it's sustainability as well in providing economy to the potter.
Exactly.
So he has to live, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
because their main profession is making clay
Exactly.
pots, so we have to provide them the sustainability. Economics is also involved.
Everything. It's a beautiful combination of everything.
So if I want to cook rice,
Yeah.
can you show me the vessel also?
Yeah, I will show you the vessel. This one has got a brilliant shape. It's excellent for cooking rice,
Yeah.
right?
And this should be heavy.
This should be heavy. And what you do is some people cook rice and throw water. Some people cook rice with the water in it, where water it will completely go. Whichever way, this is a brilliant one.
Yeah.
Because the shape makes the brilliance of it.
Okay.
Yes.
And rasam?
My go-to vessel for rasam is always this.
And tell me why in this and the importance of this shape.
This is a vessel made out of the metal called tin. Right? Tin is the kalai which we use inside brass. And in the world, globally, there is only one place that makes a vessel out of tin, and that is Kumbakonam. Very surprisingly, I meet my artisans across India and I tell them that who know brass, who are experts in all this, I tell them that we make a vessel, they say that impossible. And it is possible, and this has been going on for thousands of years. Traditionally, I have grown up where rasam is made in this particular vessel, in tin vessel. We call it EM is tin and it's chambu only, right? So this is the traditional shape to explain. That's a more of a modern shape. First of all, rasam should not boil for long, right? Because your rasam properties will go away, but it still has to be liquid. So what do? They made a beautiful vessel where it's narrow in the mouth. So it will boil, it will cook, but in 10 minutes you can switch it off. Chomba, because its temperature, its heating properties, its temperature is, or melting point is 232 degrees. It cooks rasam very well. Even in low flame, the rasam will be boiling. Okay.
And what about milk?
You can boil milk also in this. You can set curd also in this. What we understand is tin is very good for kapha, good for your skin and dental health. Okay. And maybe that's why jeera, pepper reacts with this vessel. And also, in certain communities, you do tadka at the end.
Yes.
Where you don't use garlic or, you just have to do tadka. This works the best.
Okay.
So do a tadka separately, but make the rasam in this.
What about payasam or pongal?
For payasam, I think this is a wonderful vessel for payasam. Okay. I don't have the kansa here.
Okay.
Ideally, even before this, if I have to say, it is what we call as kansa vengala chatti. It is kanchu.
Kanchu.
For payasam, number one is always kanchu. Is always bronze. Second comes brass. Because payasam is a sweet where majority of the time it's made for auspicious occasions, for something to celebration. And kanchu is, because you will do it and you will give it to God before you have it. Kanchu is unbeatable, number one. And second comes this, because the shape is a brilliant shape, the one I showed you, and this works wonderful for payasam. I have done
Biryani also. Layers.
biryani. I mean, people usually make biryani in this.
Yes.
I make all my you call those vepudu and all. It comes out very well.
Okay.
And I also make payasam in this.
Yes. And curries and fries.
Everything. It is a multi-purpose.
And you have kadais also, right?
Correct. What I have here are the smaller versions.
Yes.
What we have in our store in Manjara Hills is for Kanchu, we have a huge range of, from kadai to a pot to everything we have. And what I've realized is the Andhra and Telangana people are so culturally rooted. And I have never seen so much love for Kanchu here in these two states versus anywhere across India. And that's because people have grown up with
I
it
believe Bengal also uses a lot of
for eating.
yes.
Across India, people love kansa for eating. I'm saying both from cooking and eating as a combination. The understanding is probably because people have grown up with it, have seen it. The understanding is brilliant. And which is why, in our store, you will see almost some 40-50 ranges of Kanchu there.
Thank you, Meera. Thank you very much for throwing light on these 8 elements and how they will be useful and what to cook in which vessel. And I would love to have more conversations with you on this, because this knowledge shouldn't be confined to a store or to an experience
Agreed.
center. It should go to everyone and to the current generation.
I totally agree with you. What we have been doing is working last 10 years while we are working on products. We work on science behind it, behind the design, behind the ingredients that should go into it, why, what. Just one information, for example, people think this is a masala dabba, right? Good old days, people used brass because brass has got 40% zinc in it. Zinc keeps the ingredients fresh for longer and you don't get those insects.
Because in wood we get
Correct. And zinc retains the antioxidant properties in this one. In our spices. Indian spices are very rich in antioxidants.
lot of science involved behind every vessel, every metal and every object. So all these objects carry science, carry history, carry heritage and stories, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Meera. Thank you very much for joining me.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. It was such a pleasure talking to you since yesterday. I keep learning a lot through you, and let's make this, take this forward to more people to understand what is what. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.